Today we are insulating the van. She's already insulated, but we're just adding in some additional insulation to a lot of like the areas that are still exposed. So here you have insulation, of course, and behind all the wood, but this door, along those doors if we have extra, but mostly the sliding door and that back door. So we've got some insulation foam that has a sticky on that side, so we're going to try to cut this as neatly as we can and fit it all into those spots that I just showed you. Then on top of that, some insulation tape just to kind of like clean it up a bit, and then just put some of this aluminum tape into some of those corners that are still exposed or just need additional reinforcement. Seam roller, because you've got to roll it on. And then finally, which was insanely creative to think of, an emergency blanket. So we've got this green camo. Got four because there was green camo and there was also beige camo. I personally like the green. I think it's going to pop really nicely with the red. But Roberto brought up a good point. We can do, since we got four, we can do green in the front and green in the back, front and back, as insulation, and then in warmer days we'll just flip it so it'll work as a reflective. Additional reflectives if we still decide to put those up. And then we'll likely put this beige one on the door, since it will go pretty nicely with our design and layout on the inside of the van. So that's today's current project. We're outside, well, not really are outside, but we're in front of or outside of a dog park. There is a dog park over there. I'm not sure if you can see it the way I'm doing this right now, but the babies are chillaxing and they're getting to it. You've got to have one of those at all times. And finally, just wanted to highlight some of our new gadgets. First, probably least important, this dog bowl. We were using kind of like one of those flexible dog bowls that you clip onto your backpack for a hike or just when you're on the go. So one of these, which is really cute. It's like a beige marble almost. It's not real marble, but it's cute. Then these seasoning jars, very customizable. They came with the stickers and you just kind of do it whichever way you please to. The ones that are empty are the ones that we're kind of like, hey, we may not get that again. This is garam masala. Plant's doing much better now that we're in warmer weather. This fan for the Nook heater, the kind of like the buddy heater. So heat rises and a lot of the warm air was just kind of circulating at the top of the van and kind of staying here. So as the heat rises, that powers this fan on and keeps it rotating, and that just blows the air around. It works a lot better than I thought it would. This is a thermometer, kind of gauge your temperature in here. So right now, as we used to have this, if you remember, it's kind of like, looked like a sun, a face of a sun and a moon on a colorful kind of like throw that was on that sliding door. Once we peeled that back, we did see that one, there was what looked like dust, but it was actually mold, just from the like condensation and just living in here and all the warmth and kind of moistness that's in the van. So we wiped that down, and then now just going in, because it looked like there was some caulk on here. I'm not sure what Nick was doing or what kind of project he was kind of working on, but that was all around this outline border of this door. So just kind of going in with different tools and scraping that off. Then we'll probably start the insulation. So we'll keep you posted on that.
Come on, you two. Go. Go inside. Go. Good. Good boy. Come on, then. Got it?
How much of this are we putting foam on, or is this tape?
This,
Oh, if you stuck it.
but like we just didn't like use it the right way yet, which is fine. This first. It's okay. You can do it first. Maybe just draw. Yeah, you can just draw on it from the inside. Do you have like some of those tiny ones that I had here? Or?
These pieces? So we're coming along pretty nicely, I think. But I'm a bit biased because we've been doing the work. But yeah, we tackled the bigger strips first, and now we're kind of getting into the corners. I'm going to fill out those two stripes that are kind of going down, or strips that are going down. And let's get to it. still at it, but we made really good progress. So this door's done. And then where a lot of cold air really comes in from is down here. I'm not sure if you can see it, but right below this, where the van kind of goes down and inside and locks, a lot of air kind of comes through there, and also through here, basically where the van is locking. So sealed this too. And for those of you who are familiar with Monsters Inc., some of these little pieces, like this one right here, so it was like a scrap, and I don't know if you remember, they needed to find like that little piece from Boo's door. Can you find the light here?
Yeah.
So like if you have a little one here, it's like you're peeling it off and then you're just kind of like pushing it in. And it really reminded me of that Monsters Inc. scene where they had the little crack and they like just kind of boop, put it in and her door was good to go. But yeah, we've got insulation here, and I think we're gonna do the back door tomorrow just because it's dark out now. But we're gonna clean up a little bit. These are all the scraps. Yeah, so like something like, I don't know, just something like this, kind of like peeling it and then just pushing it into one of those little areas. Yeah, like I said, reminded me of Monsters Inc.
Hi, mommy. Hi, mommy. Hi, mommy. That's the mommy. That's the mommy. That's the mommy. That's the mommy. The mommy. The mommy. And the wing. Hi, babies. Alright, let me finish this up so you can head out.
We're finishing up hanging the emergency blanket. I'm stuttering right now because I didn't eat all day, but truthfully, I've been yummying a lot that it's probably okay. It's more than okay, actually. But I've realized I didn't explain what we did here. So his idea, brilliant. So we insulated that door, which I showed you with that insulation foam, and then kind of went around with that aluminum tape just to kind of further seal it. But now that we're putting the emergency blanket on with the Reflectix facing that insulation foam and the tape, but what we did was we created a barrier. So you have the emergency blanket, the design facing us, the Reflectix facing in, and the Reflectix are facing that aluminum foil and that aluminum tape that we used to insulate the van door. So foam tape here, Reflectix facing here, so that barrier is between it. And what that does is during the winter time, once we turn on our heater and with just our body warmth and the warmth from our babies, we're going to keep and preserve the warmth that's in the van and keep that cold out. Then in the summertime, it also works where when we use our EcoFlow air conditioner and maybe the fans running, we will keep the cool air in here and continue to push out the heat outside. So it's basically just preserving whatever temperature is in the van and keeping out the outdoor temperature pretty nicely. It looks cool. I really just want to see if it works.
Theory is that if it's hot outside, the heat goes in, enters, gets reflected by the foil on the inside of the blanket, then goes against the door, and it's just kind of
Trapped there.
It's just kind of trapped, like hitting each other. It should, much less of the heat should enter inside. If you're inside and it's cold outside and you create air from a heater, then the heat, once you leave, then it hits the door, then the blanket, boom, it should create a barrier again. It shouldn't necessarily be leaving and the cold coming in. If you wanted it to be more effective, you would just flip the blanket, but you don't really want to be staring at like reflectix all the time. So
now onto the back. This is another emergency blanket. Initially we used to use a fleece blanket, which worked pretty well, and then we made this kind of like bottom contraption. Now we're kind of just trying all the things and putting together different combinations to see whether things make a difference or not. So that's an emergency blanket, American flag. Behind it we have a fleece blanket, and on the bottom we have a fleece blanket rolled up with, actually, there was a pillow that I no longer wanted, and I got that little small pillow that you literally like 3 long exhales and it blows up. So I tossed that pillow, and we took apart the pillow and put the cotton into the fleece, and then kind of used strings and bands and glue to hold it all together. So this is actually stuffed with cotton from a pillow. At one point when we were grooming the dogs, we were thinking about using their fur, but it would have gotten messy. So today is part 2, and we're gonna tackle this and mostly that bottom, because I think that's where a lot of the air comes through. So let's give that a go. So we're working late again today, but this is fun. I don't know what it is about it, but I get joy out of doing this. And quickly, if you can see, oh, I need a light. Baby, can I get the light on your phone?
let me see if someone's texting me.
I'll be the judge of that. Okay. So here we got the bottom. So we did that. Then we kind of went up along here today and we did some of that. I kind of followed his pattern since he kind of started here while I did down here. And so this is his work. And he went up there and around the corner. Then I followed suit. And so what we've got for today, I think tomorrow, since we do have a little bit left over, we'll get into here and just seal that off down here, and then seal this off in there. And I think we're good to go. Maybe we can do that arch up there if we really want to get fancy. He's kind of getting into back here. This is like, what would you say? These are like the big areas, right? They're small areas, but this is where a lot of the air kind of escapes from the van. I did this here yesterday. Yeah, he said this is where the air can leak. But we are outside of our favorite spot. We worked out earlier, and we might, well, we are gonna go back and do a little bit of cardio post Walmart. I don't know if you can see it from here, but the sky's a little pink. And then you've got blue, so we've seen a little bit of pink, purple, blue. It's really pretty. We woke up to mountains today and I was happy, but my toes are really cold, so I'm gonna get in the van, and until next time. For those of you who remember our kitchen renovation when this was wobbling and we had to wood glue that back in and kind of prop this up, and we just decided to go with a wooden block for the best support. We had a little piece of that left over, so we had to fit it into that curve. So I kind of just did what I could to just utilize that. And I don't really like it. Initially I was going for stripes down, but I didn't like that, so I started cutting and it was going well, and then it just kind of... So I just wanted to touch base. I'm editing the installation video, and I figured just very quickly give you our thoughts on how it's been treating us. I got waxed today, so I'm not going to be doing too much movement. I might do something a little light later. But we're at the park. He's playing around with his soccer ball. Apparently he just fell on his ass and I missed it. Look at the mountains. We are in Utah, and clearly the weather is warmer. And then PJs that my mom brought for me.
Are my chunkies?
Baby.
I want to do a quick insulation. How's the insulation been for us?
How is it like going?
Yeah.
I think it's a little too early to say. Like today in the morning, it didn't feel as warm when we didn't use the blanket.
I also didn't, yeah, we didn't use the emergency blanket or the fleece blanket in the front.
Yeah.
We just closed the curtains. But I also didn't slam the sliding door closed because King has diarrhea, so I had to take him out in the middle of the night in the rain. We put on the little raincoat for him and his raincoat. But when he was playing games, he didn't make a gaki. And then a couple hours later, he had to go again, and he actually did so. But,
It feels like it reflects more heat.
I think so.
Heat, like less heat is coming out. Like when we cooked,
it was nice and toasty in
it
there.
stayed warm for longer than I think it would usually be.
Yeah, I think it's keeping, yeah, like you said, it's keeping the warmth in. And I would say in the morning, sitting by the sliding door, that door that we insulated and then put the emergency blanket down over, it's warmer there too. You don't feel as much as of a draft.
Yeah.
And even sleeping at night, the cold, granted it's warmer out here in Utah, but my head doesn't feel as cold at night.
It was also snowing in the morning, so
It did feel a little chilly, but at the same time, we weren't dressed warm, so it's kind of like hard to tell because we peeled back a lot of layers. We didn't put the emergency blanket or the fleece blanket in the front, and that door wasn't fully closed. So it was snowing this morning, and there was a little bit of like a chill, but nothing compared to the way we were damn near freezing before.
I want to see how it goes when you put the emergency blanket on the front. It's just gonna be a pain, like to
No.
set everything up. But
Well, we will keep you posted on that. Please let me know if you have any questions about our DIY installation proyecto. And if you want to know what materials we used, I'm happy to share that. And I mean, it was fairly simple, like our methodology and the way we kind of applied everything. But if you have any questions, I thought he kicked the ball at my head. Drop them down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And thanks for tuning in. Let me know what you're thinking. And I do remember back then when I first started this channel, I told myself when I hit 500 subscribers, I would kind of share my story, like what I was doing before this, where I'm from, and what all the things that kind of led me to embarking on this journey and taking this leap, and what this means for Alana. So stay tuned. Thank you for tapping in today, and until next time.